This is the Washington Times front page for Monday, June 21st, 2021. Thanks for starting your week with us. I'm George Gerbo. New Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett opened his first cabinet meeting with a rebuke of the U.S.-led push to strike a new nuclear deal with Iran. Ben Wolfgang reports Bennett said the U.S. and its international partners must wake up and rethink negotiations with a dangerous regime in Iran. The comments came hours after Iranian judiciary chief and hardliner Ebrahim Raisi was elected as Iran's next president. President Biden and his foreign policy team are widely believed to be racing to secure a nuclear pact with Iran before Raisi takes office in about 6 weeks. They fear that new Iranian leadership could scuttle any diplomacy with the U.S. and that relations between the two countries could deteriorate further. The Government Accountability Office has calculated that the former Trump administration completed only 69 miles of the border wall system promised to Americans, not the more than 450 miles that have been claimed. Stephen Dinan reports the GAO said the old administration front-loaded construction of fence panels to meet former President Trump's deadline, and that meant shortchanging the roads, lights, and other technology for the highly touted wall system. Although 458 miles of new fence panels were erected before the end of the Trump administration, just 69 miles had all of the components that the Border Patrol had planned. Russian President Vladimir Putin has repeatedly denied involvement in the surge of ransomware attacks on U.S. targets, but former U.S. counterintelligence director William Evanina says there's no question Russian intelligence influences the operations. Our national security team leader Guy Taylor talked with Evanina, who generally praised the federal government's response to cyber attacks, but said U.S. intelligence could engage in more aggressive cyber operations to counter Russian hacking. Evanina said numerous legal and policy concerns, along with the prospect of a cascading escalation with Russia, have held back the cyber operations offensive. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. Don't have access to the Times yet? Visit WashingtonTimes.com/George and get 25% off your annual subscription. The U.S. is in a battle with China over who will dominate the automated vehicle market, and in a battle on Capitol Hill on helping American companies compete in the industry. Kerry Murakami reports a bill has been stalled in Congress for 2 years, largely because of trial lawyers' demands, according to Republican aides that are involved with the legislation. The hang-up is over a guarantee that auto companies can be taken to court should anything go wrong with driverless vehicles. The gridlock is hurting automakers at a critical time as they compete to develop driverless vehicles. Lawmakers on both sides say the nascent technology promises to reduce vehicle crashes by removing human error, drunken drivers, and distracted drivers from the roadways. It would also give more independence to people with disabilities and older adults. The defenders of the Alamo went down to defeat nearly 2 centuries ago, but a clash is raging over the legacy of the storied Texas Revolutionary Battle. Valerie Richardson reports Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed legislation this month to create the 1836 Project, named after the year Texas declared its independence from Mexico. Abbott said the project promotes patriotic education about Texas and makes sure that generations come to understand Texas values. The 13-day siege of the Alamo by Mexican forces has become a target of those seeking to reframe the battle not as a last stand for freedom, but as a struggle over slavery. And finally, a study from the Conservative Heritage Foundation finds 2/3 of parents oppose the teaching of race-based curriculum. James Varney reports the think tank study also found 59% of teachers are skeptical of the curriculum. In separate surveys, respondents said American schools need to emphasize civics education from kindergarten through high school. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and subscribe for free to the front page. Just search Washington Times on your favorite podcast platforms. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at WashTimes for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.